That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts, and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and warmer temperatures with the high around 88. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with the low around 66. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny with the high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Kleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and warmer temperatures with the high around 88. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with the low around 66. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny with the high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Kleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll go for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Man, we're feeling full of energy with the help of Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul today. Nick Sainert, Rico with you. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How's the day?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah, pretty good. It's not the usual so far so good. It is going pretty darn well.
It's going pretty solid right now. I'm the only one on the screen right now, though, so I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. What did you enjoy from Mary Ellen's?
First off, shout out to Mary Ellen for the delicious food. I had some of the ribs.
Yep.
I had some of the burnt ends.
Yep.
Some of the mac and cheese. Some of the cornbread.
Yeah.
What else did I have? Fried chicken.
Yep.
Which is always solid. I didn't have any of the collard greens or the coleslaw, but I might grab some of that here after the show is. I'm ready to take a nap. Actually, like it was delicious.
Wow.
I got the itis.
I mean, here's the deal. Honestly, so the guys the folks from Mary Ellen's Food for Soul over there, South 27th and Pine Lake area, in that strip mall over there. By the way, you got to check it out. Number one. Number two, everybody knows I'm trying to like eat a little bit better, eat a little cleaner. Hey, that went by the wayside today. I had a couple of ribs. I had some burnt ends. I had some mac and cheese. And
well, the thing is, it's not unhealthy food.
It's not unhealthy. It's just not as good as the stuff that I probably could eat. But hey, the flavor just completely blows the realisticness, the reality of like needing to eat healthy out of the water.
Yeah,
we
you'll
don't
be
care.
fine. You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Yeah, I did tell Bella. I said, Bella, you got to put it away because I'm going to keep eating this. The mac and cheese was incredible. So yeah, shout out to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Shout out to our sponsors, our friends of the show, Empire Fence and Netting, for the support of the program as always. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today. Got a good one lined up. We're going to talk schedules in this first segment, not Nebraska's. Don't worry. We're not going to go through and say, okay, what do we think Nebraska's record's going to be? I don't think they can beat Purdue. I don't think they can beat Maryland.
Oh, there's no way.
There's
no way in hell Nebraska beats Purdue. What are you talking?
But we are going to, on 3, released who they believe has the hardest schedules in America.
Actually, the 4-letter network did. On 3 just
On 3 copied it.
They
which is not surprising.
It's not copied. They just took it and put it on there. They gave the 4-letter network credit.
Good.
But
we are anti-plagiarism.
Yeah.
Anti-taking content.
Don't take things from people. Be nice.
But we are going to kind of go through a couple of those. There's a lot of similarities between like 9 of the top 10 teams that have the hardest schedule in America, according to. We're not going to go through one by one. We're just going to take a look really briefly at some of them. Florida at number 1, and also talk about the coaching situations with some of these teams, because as we move into this era of college football conferences being as stacked as ever, basically, right? You're having conversations about, okay, is the ACC going to make it in a couple of years? And if they don't, what happens to the top dogs in that conference? Do they join the SEC or do they join the Big Ten? And we've already seen it out of the Pac-12, where you have Oregon and UCLA and USC and Washington join the Big Ten. You have teams from the Pac-12 joining the Big 12 as well. And then obviously Oklahoma and Texas moving on to the SEC this year. I'm fascinated by the future potential conversations of coach stability and how long of a leash do athletic departments give said coaches, because we're transitioning and we've started to maneuver as a fan department, as a society, I suppose. I always feel like a politician when I go and we move together as a society.
And together we will come together as a football country and decide that Ohio State needs to stop it.
Just leashes in general for coaches, especially college football coaches, have become shorter and shorter. And now you're entering this era of college football where it's going to be even more difficult than it was the last 5 years to win games at a consistently high level. And so, yeah, you're going to have the group of coaches that do it consistently, right? The Ryan Days, the Steve Sarkisians, I suppose. Prior to that, it was like the Nick Sabans of the world, right? So you're going to have this top echelon of coaches, but then what about like the second and third group? And what happens to the middle of the road coaches, right? Is 8 wins enough for a program that 5 years ago was winning 10? I like that's with that. Those are the conversations that you're going to have because it will be, you have to be realistic with where college football is at, but it's hard to when you're number one, if you're a donor providing funds to the football program or to the athletic department, or if you're an athletic director that has their own job on the line based on how these coaches perform.
See, on that, it's part of it goes to, the winning consistently and what have you. And the leashes, I do believe the leashes are going to start getting shorter because of the expansion of the playoffs. We're at 12 teams right now. There's talk of going to, 14, 16, 18, however big they're going to get because, hey, the more teams equals more money, right? But with that, it's not just going to be about, oh, are you winning consistently? Are you winning 8 games and what? It's just going to be about, can you get into the playoff? Because with an expanded playoff, it should be, quote unquote, easier for teams to make the playoff. So you're going to see, at least in my opinion, is you're going to see coaches at programs who maybe aren't going to win the national championship, even every 6 years or something like that. Have these coaches who, look, you have 3 years to make it into the playoff. We are giving you all of this money. We're giving you all of this access. You're in the SEC. You're in the Big Ten. It should only take you X amount of wins or X amount of wins against these teams at least to make it into the playoff. And I believe that that's why you're going to see a lot of these leashes get shortened, because these coaches who maybe are winning at a decent clip are winning 8-9 games a year, but are just missing out on the playoff, which I feel like if you win 8 or 9 games, you should have a pretty good chance of making the playoff if you're in, again, the SEC or the Big Ten. But if you're missing out on the playoff, 3 years, you're going to see good coaches probably lose their jobs because those teams aren't making the play. You'll see, let's just random team out there. Let's say Texas, which I don't think it's going to happen. Let's say Steve Sarkisian, they've made the playoffs. They missed the playoffs the next 3 years, but they're winning 10 games. Somehow they're left out of the playoff, even though they're the SEC. They get left out of the playoffs the next 3 years, but they're winning 10 games. They're still bringing in top 10 recruiting classes. I feel like Steve Sarkisian will be on a hot seat. He might even lose his job at that point because you're losing out on all that extra money, all that extra publicity for yourself by not making into the playoff, regardless of what you've been doing outside of it.
I think you're onto something there. Let's continue diving into this. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. We will also be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska coming up in around 10 minutes or so. We'll talk a little bit of fall camp with him. We might even ask him that question that I just posed to you guys regarding, the length of a leash on a college football coach. And if you're sitting there in your vehicle or in your cubicle, wherever you may be right now and saying, man, Nick, Rico, you guys are idiots, because think about what kind of coach would win a decent number of games and still be on the hot seat. Well, right now you can look at Ohio State. I think if Ohio State were to not be in the Big Ten championship this year, and it's not as simple as it was to where you just had to win your division, if Ohio State's not in the Big Ten championship, I think it could be very, very dicey in Columbus, which we had the conversation, myself, DP, Chancellor, Jay, Amon, Carricker. We had that conversation at Big Ten Media Days 2.5 weeks ago or so now about just how stupid that narrative is. Because then conversely, let's look at a team like Purdue. That's kind of where I wanted to start. Keep it in the Big Ten Conference. You look at a team like the Purdue Boilermakers, who are in year 2 of a new head coach. Ryan Walters just finished up year 1 last season with the Boilermakers, obviously the former defensive coordinator at the University of Illinois. And you have Ryan Walters, who took Purdue to 4-8. I don't know if, first off, before we talk about 2024, I'm not sure people give enough credit to Jeff Brom for what he did at Purdue and how good of a coach Jeff Brom was out in West Lafayette, because
you saw what he did in Louisville after he left.
That part, but then also Daryl Hazel absolutely bombed at Purdue, and it was putrid at times with the Boilermakers. And Ross-Ade Stadium is not a great facility, and it's not flashy in West Lafayette. But Jeff Braun was able to come in and go to a couple of bowl games, have some success, win some big Big Ten games, most notably against Ohio State at home that one year. And it propelled him into a job with the Louisville Cardinals. Well, now Ryan Walters is sitting here he goes 4-8 last year, which is fine in year one of a head coach. He had a win over Virginia Tech to start the season on the road in Blacksburg. Now, Virginia Tech wasn't a great football team, but nonetheless, they still beat Virginia Tech on the road. They had a dominating 44-19 win against the Illinois Fighting Illini last year. They lost by just 6 to the Iowa Hawkeyes. They were able to beat Minnesota 49-30 at home last year, and then finish out the season against a rival in Indiana and win, right? Now, you look at this season's schedule, and it's one of the toughest in the Big Ten. So after a 4-8 season, now Purdue, in the new landscape of the Big Ten Conference, has non-conference games against Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame's probably going to be pretty good this year. Then they go on the road to Oregon State. First-year head coach Trent Bray, obviously out there. But then on top of that, they have to travel to Madison. They have to travel to Illinois. They host Oregon, which doesn't really do a whole lot for you, whether you host or you go on the road. You have to travel to Ohio State, to Penn State, and to Michigan State.
Goodness gracious.
And then on top of that, your normal rivalry game against Indiana and a matchup against Northwestern and Nebraska. So now the conversation surrounds Purdue saying, what's a realistic goal at the start of this season or at the end of this season? What do you want it to be? Because 4-8 with that type of schedule at a place like Purdue in year 2 of a head coach, and having, frankly, what Hudson Card is somewhat of a mediocre quarterback, serviceable quarterback maybe is a better term for that.
He is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback.
A serviceable quarterback. You're sitting there going, yeah, you know what? Purdue, you feel okay with a 4-win season. That'd be a win against probably Indiana State to start the year. Probably a win against Oregon State, who might not be very good since they lost their quarterback of the future in Aiden Childs. Maybe
Indiana.
Maybe you squeak one out against Indiana. And if Michigan State or Northwestern potentially, because Northwestern.
If Michigan State's as bad as everybody thinks they're going to be.
I don't think they will be.
I don't either.
I think Michigan State will surprise people.
I think they play 500 ball.
But with that being said, my old RA just walked by. Shout out to Hunter. Anyway, so
Purdue and Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters got thrown into a hard spot.
So that's the thing. Is now it's those conversations where if you are a team like Purdue, where maybe you want to say out loud and publicly that Big Ten championship is the expectation. Realistically, there's some internal conversations where, hey man, if we get a bowl game, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Look, I mean, everybody's goal is to make it to their conference championship, but realistically for Purdue, that's probably not the most realistic goal. They have we're talking about the top 25 hardest schedules. They have the hardest schedule in the Big Ten according to ESPN. They have the 11th hardest schedule in the country, the hardest one in the Big Ten, again, according to ESPN. But Ryan Walters, it was one of those situations for him where he gets not thrown, but he gets hired into a situation where the coach wasn't fired. The coach was having good seasons and decided of his own volition to leave and take a job at, I believe he's from Louisville.
He is.
So take a job at his, in his home city or his home state. So it was one of those tougher situations where a good coach leaves. It's not like you're getting thrown into a bad situation, but with him leaving, there were a lot of better players who decided to dip out as well and enter the transfer portal, whether they went to Louisville or whether they went somewhere else. That's beside the point. But he then had to rebuild a program which isn't a world beater in any, in any sense of the word, but having to rebuild that program from not scratch, but losing all of your better players and having to build up Purdue was a tough situation for a first-time head coach in Ryan Walters. And the fact that there's talk of, well, if he doesn't if he doesn't go 500 or win enough games, he's going to get fired in year 2 at a school like Purdue is ridiculous. But it's also kind of going on to that point that we were talking about, where the leashes are going to be shorter when you have a larger chance of making a playoff and making a name for yourself. All you have to do is win, X amount of games in a Power 2 conference that you're in the Big Ten.
So how about this for you? From 2009 to 2016, through the 2016 season, the Purdue Boilermakers had Danny Hope and Daryl Hazel in as their coach.
Mm-hmm.
If my math is correct here, from 2009 to 2016, they span over of 2 coaches and 2 interims in addition to that, and a total of 2 bowl games. They had 31 victories from 2009 to 2016. Jeff Brom gets there in 2017 and records 35 victories from 2017 to 2022. So, I mean, dramatic difference.
Yeah.
Dramatic difference. Also, 2 bowl game wins. 4 appearances in a bowl game. He goes 2-1 as the head coach. Their interim coach lost the Citrus Bowl in 2022. Ryan Walters steps in. Don't forget, Aiden O'Connell moved out, right? And they lost, obviously, Rondale Moore graduated a couple of years ago, which, by the way, Rondale Moore got injured and had an air cast on his right leg in Falcons practice today. But
you lose George Karlaftis.
Yeah, you lose George Karlaftis, who was the 32nd overall pick to the Chiefs a couple of years ago. You also lost, there was that wide receiver that I'm forgetting about, big number 4. Might have transferred to Louisville too. But anyway, you lost your quarterback to Louisville too. Yeah. Jack Plummer left and went to Louisville. And so there's a lot of pieces missing for Ryan Walters, but leads him to a 4-8 season, a 3-6 mark in the Big Ten Conference. But man, Purdue goes 2-10 this year. Doesn't look good on paper.
No.
But realistically, is what's the expectation? There's going to be a lot of, probably pretty dark conversations being had in places that are better than Purdue, that the places that maybe go, instead of 6-6, go 4-8 this year.
So, but there's also that situation where even though it's Purdue and it's West Lafayette, you're in the Big Ten and you have Big Ten money, and you have, again, that larger chance to make the college football playoff. You'll be able to potentially lure. Look, you're not going to get any of the big names, but you'll be able to lure.
You'll be able to get a Jeff Brom.
Yeah, you'll be able to lure some of those assistant coaches who are maybe up for bigger jobs.
Yep.
Later on in their career, but you can get on them early, and maybe they end up leaving. But if they do leave, that means they're leaving you in a good position.
Well, and here's the thing. Is like now Jeff Brom has given them a taste of success, and so if with a couple of years of Ryan Walters, whatever the mark may be. And I really enjoyed listening to Ryan Walters speak at Big Ten Media Days a couple of weeks ago.
I like Ryan Walters.
And he was an incredible defensive coordinator at Illinois, and potentially was in line for the Colorado job if some man by the name of Deion Sanders wouldn't have come along and had the obviously the resume that he had. Ryan Walters, a Colorado alum. But regardless, you have a taste of success with a coach after years and years of, disastrous football. You don't want to take a couple of steps back. You're hoping, and with that, it's that you can have the narrative of, well, it worked once when we took a chance from Jeff Brom at Western Kentucky. It could work again when we take a chance from Joe Schmo from another Group of 5 school, or Joe Schmo, a coordinator from an SEC school.
Yeah,
gives a chance, and that's maybe what the donors would like to hear after a couple of losing seasons. All right, let's take a break there. Let's put a pin there. When we come back, maybe we'll continue that conversation. We'll get Steve's thoughts on that. We're going to be joined by our friend Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska when we return on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry
Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at gohogwild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
LES is proud to be powered by your family, your friends, your neighbors, local people serving local people. Learn more about what a career at LES can offer you at les.com/careers.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G35609. Must trade.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Can you guys just keep a straight face?
Yes. I'm like, yes, but we'll try. Okay.
We're just three players talking. Come on, let's try this.
This is how the Sugar Hill.
You're driving to Wichita, writing this down.
You're not helping anything.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I don't believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. Let's go right to it. The Allo VIP line. The VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. And we're joined by our good friend, loyal listener sometimes of the show, Steve Marik inside Nebraska. Steve, what's happening?
Oh, nothing, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's a gorgeous day out there, if you guys haven't heard.
It is a gorgeous day. It also is an exciting couple of days because Nebraska football is less than a month away, just 24 days away. I want to ask you a big picture college football question. And maybe if you were by chance caught that first segment, you might have heard this question.
If you're a loyal listener.
If you were a loyal listener. But anyway, Steve, the question was this. I mean, in this changing landscape of college football where you're approaching where stacked conferences are a thing, right? You have the best teams of smaller conferences joining the Big Ten and the SEC. And over the last 5 years, before all this became a thing, leashes with coaches got shorter and shorter, right? And the expectation got higher and higher, understandably so. What type of landscape are we approaching with coaches specifically? And I used Purdue as an example after they had a taste of success with Jeff Brom. They go to Ryan Walters, who took them 4-8 last year, which isn't horrible for a place like Purdue. I don't know if you've seen their schedule. It's a gauntlet. It is a gauntlet this year. And if you're somebody like Purdue, how do you make that decision of like, is this the right guy? Do we give him some more runway or is it time to move on? I think those conversations are going to be increasingly difficult over these next couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think you're right on with like, it's going to get really difficult with some coaches in particular, because when you're looking at like, just for example, Purdue and Ryan Walters, like he didn't have head coaching experience before, but they took a leap of faith on him and hired him as a first year head coach. And so, that kind of, in this new age of college football where, some coaches are going to get 2 or 3 years, not even 3 years, maybe in some instances. So I guess it just depends. It's a case by case thing with each head coach and his background, I guess. But I think the leashes are going to get shorter for sure, just because the stakes have been raised so high with everything that is changing in the industry. And you just look at the landscape of college football right now with the big two of the Big Ten and the SEC. Everybody's going to want to coach in these conferences, and I'm sure coaches are going to want to stop playing power conference opponents like in their non-conference. I think it's kind of becoming the smart thing to do, just to get some, I don't know if you want to call it cupcake non-conference schedules. I think that's going to benefit a lot of teams, in the Big Ten and the SEC. So. I just think it will differ on who you hire. And, in the example of Ryan Walters, I think Purdue kind of took a chance on him. And as we know what he can do as a defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, who knows? Right now 4-8 with Purdue, and, it didn't look great overall over there in West Lafayette, but, it's just one of those things that, if you're an athletic director at a place like Purdue, where you're not like the showcase team in the conference, you're going to have to really, really try to hone in on candidates that you like as head coaches, and really kind of just try to see the trajectory and the path of where your guy you have right now is headed, and go from there. But it's definitely not going to be an easy thing. And I think maybe coaches' leashes are going to be just a little bit shorter going forward.
We're joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Steve, let's talk a little bit about Nebraska now. We got our first chance to hear from John Butler yesterday. And I think I walked away listening to some of that, and I kind of walked away of like, football dude. Like, and that's such a cliche phrase to use, but it just felt like he just kind of was upfront about, hey, I wasn't expecting to be here, but here I am. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to kind of sink my teeth into this, learn a ton, and we'll see where the road goes.
I don't think John Butler, like I'm with you, Nick, like just listening to him talk. I mean, that guy could talk about football for hours and hours, and it's just his life. You could tell that he's dedicated his entire life to it, and nothing that the media corps at Nebraska is going to say to him is going to throw him off. I mean, he had an answer for everything. He was very comfortable up there just because he's, look at where he's come from. He spent the past 10 years in the NFL. He's been doing this press conference stuff for a very, very long time. You're just never going to find John Butler searching for words or searching for an answer. I thought he was excellent up there, and it just kind of speaks to the job that Matt Rule did, plucking him out of nowhere, basically, because John was, vacationing in New Jersey on the beach. And then out of the blue, he said Matt Rule shows up with an opportunity for him to get back into football, where, he was thinking about taking a year off and everything. And all of a sudden, Matt Rule comes up and offers him the DB's coach job at Nebraska. And now he gets to coach football again like he always wanted to. So, I just don't think anything is ever going to catch John Butler off guard just because football is his life and he's dedicated his life to it. I think Nebraska's defensive backs, the players in that room, they're lucky because I think they have a really, really great leader.
Steve, just a fun fact about John Butler. I don't know, maybe you can throw this into an article. Is that we found this out yesterday. I was reading an article from like a couple of years ago, 2023. Somebody at the Buffalo newspaper interviewed every single Buffalo Bills assistant, and his starting salary at Division III Catholic University out there in Washington D.C. was $1,500.
Oh wow. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's just, to me, that's just really cool just to see like where he is right now and like where he starts. Like everybody has a different story in life and where they started and where they're at right now. And yeah, Division III Catholic University. Is that in DC with him and Sean Patton?
It sure is.
That's the connection. One of the connections that he had to Nebraska, along with coaching a lot of Rule's former players that spent time in Buffalo as well. So, 1,500. Wow, that's something. I'm sure John kind of looks back at those days and shakes his head. But he's got a lot of stuff right now that makes him happy and everything. And I think being at Nebraska, he was talking about just kind of his story arc a little bit. And it really seems that having this job at Nebraska, a storied program, a lot of history. I think he takes pride in that. And I think he takes pride in being here and everything. So he seemed energized and ready to go. And Deshaun Singleton, the returning safety, starter at safety from last year, he kind of said the same thing where John Butler is like ready to go. He's fast paced out there and he's wanting to get reps in and reps out. So I think Nebraska's players have a good guy.
Yeah. I think one last thing on John Butler. I think like what I kind of gathered from listening was frankly like it wasn't boastful that he continued to refer to or continuously referred to like the 30 years of coaching, 30 years of experience, but it was, I thought his answers were pretty thoughtful because Steve, we've been in enough press conferences and a lot of the listeners have listened to enough to where coaches are so quick to respond and they kind of like think on their feet. And that's part of, I think, probably needing to be able to maneuver around a press conference room. But it felt like there were pauses in between questions and answers. Like he was extremely like thoughtful and I thought purposeful with his answers. And like I said, continue to refer to his 30 years of experience, but it never came across as like, whoa, look at me, or boastful. It looked like it was like a proud, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years, but I came in here, I stepped into Tony White's office and I shut up.
I totally agree with that. It did not come across as, look at me, I've been in the NFL, big boy pants for the past 10 years. It came across as, this is my life. I've been doing this since I can remember, and I know my stuff, and that's confidence to me. That's not cockiness. And I really enjoyed. I asked him about Tommy Hill, and I really enjoyed, because you could tell when I was asking the question, the gears started turning in his head about Tommy Hill. And I really thought that John gave a great answer on Tommy Hill. That, first time he met Tommy Hill, he saw this almost physical specimen, 6 foot. He's added 10 pounds around, 15 pounds around. He's playing at 205 pounds right now. He's a big corner, and he's a big athlete, and he's one of the best athletes on the team. He could probably play receiver if he really dedicated himself to that. But, John Butler said he's got all the traits. He's got long arms. He's got the wingspan. He can run with receivers. He can flip his hips. He can carry guys. But the job's not done. Just because you did well at the end of last season does not mean, you're just going to pick things up in this upcoming season. So I really enjoyed listening to John Butler's kind of assessment of his room and the leaders in it. And I think Tommy Hill has kind of grown a lot in that department. And, Tommy is a guy that has extreme talent, but can he rein it all in and transition it to the grass, as Tony White likes to say. But, John Butler, I think, really knows that he has some talent in his room, and coming from the NFL, he's got a lot of experience in coaching a lot of different types of players. And he said that he's coached some players exactly like Tommy Hill, and he's helped them achieve things. So I think this is going to be really good for Tommy Hill if he keeps his head on his shoulders. And it seems like, by all accounts and purposes, he's been doing that. And I think John Butler is going to be a very good thing for somebody like Tommy Hill.
We're speaking with Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, and Steve, kind of staying on that Tommy Hill and just kind of going to the defensive backs, the older guys, kind of as a whole. We were speaking yesterday about John Butler and the elder statesman in the defensive backs room, and how almost perfect it was that they get a coach who was just in the NFL coaching defensive backs, and the older guys in the room, obviously, well, not obviously, but probably parts of their goal is to make it to the next level, and to have somebody coaching them who's been there, done that, knows what it takes. How important and how I don't know what other word I'm looking for. Valuable is it to have a guy like that for the older defensive backs? Because, I mean, the defense as a whole kind of has a lot of older guys at each position. How important and valuable is it for them to have somebody like John Butler telling them, showing them, look, like you just mentioned with Tommy Hill, yeah, you've done it last year. Don't get complacent. Don't get cocky. You still have to repeat the process.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, that's absolutely huge, because one of the, John Butler was asked about, what makes a really good defensive back, what makes a really good pass defense. And he said, the players in the room who, from the top down, and by the top, he meant the head and the mindset and their dedication to their craft, to their recovery, to their dedication of recovering their body, to doing the little things off the field, in the film room, in the meeting rooms. If you can be elite there, if you can act like a professional there first, everything on the field usually takes care of itself. Because when you're at this level, I mean, you're talented. I mean, you can play some football when you're playing power conference football. So, I really, that kind of really struck me with John Butler, because, he said, if you act like a professional, if you take everything into it, and the mindset wise, you can just, everything will take care of itself on the field. And I think that's just huge. And, when he walked into this defensive backs room at Nebraska, he saw guys like Isaac Gifford, Deshaun Singleton, Marquise Buford, a lot of guys who have been here. And that they all have that right mindset. I think Gifford, Isaac, is really kind of rubbing off on everybody in the room, especially the older guys and the younger guys who are learning underneath him. I think John Butler is just a really, really great thing for this defense and for that DB room, which is filled with a lot of young guys, some of whom might be thrown into the fire early, depending on who wins battles. But yeah, I mean, having John Butler here and having his stories, his war stories from the NFL, and having him explain to these guys, what the all-pro guys that he used to coach did, that's just going to give everybody motivation. That's going to give Isaac Gifford motivation to be one of the best rovers / safeties in college football, and it's going to motivate Tommy Hill to be one of the best corners in the Big Ten. So I think it's just overall a great thing.
Steve, a couple more before we let you go. Let's transition to the offense. Obviously, the news around Teddy Prohaska was confirmed yesterday by Matt Rule. I guess, what does this mean for Nebraska's offensive line? We knew Teddy and Turner were kind of fighting it out for number one spot. Matt Rule mentioned Gunnar Gatula. I guess the thought is, or my question to you is, I mean, how do you see this offensive line shaking out? And, is it firmly now Turner's spot at the left tackle? Because, I mean, that's a pretty big talking point, and rightfully so, because you have the face of your program now, almost Dylan Raiola, taking the snaps back there, and you got to figure out a way to protect his backside.
Yeah, the left tackle spot, that's going to be a question mark going into the season, just because I fully expect Turner Corcoran, especially after what happened with Teddy. I expect Turner to get that left tackle spot and start the season there. But, obviously, I don't have to explain that. That raises some questions considering his past performances, Turner. But again, look, we saw last year the jump that Bryce Benhart made, right? We saw the jump that Ben Scott made at center, just becoming a really solid center, leader of the offensive line, quarterback of the offensive line. And, I'm not saying that can't happen for Turner, but I really think that having Donovan Raiola back, having Aaron Cooling back, his assistant, I really think that the continuity in the offensive line, in the offensive line room, especially with the coaching, that's really going to help everybody involved. And if Turner can stay healthy, which he hasn't done the past handful of seasons, I really think that there's a chance for him to take that step that he hasn't taken in the past. I'm not ready to write off Turner Corcoran at all, because if anything, all these kids are on social media. These guys know what's being said about them. I'm sure Turner Corcoran, even if you ask him right now, he might say, no, I don't read that stuff. Well, he probably does. And he knows that his back is up against the wall, but he also knows that he's in a spot right now to be a leader and to kind of show others, show Husker football fans that he can play some football, that he can be a valuable member of this offensive line room. He's very, very respected in that room. He's been here. He's done that. He was thrown into the fire as a true freshman. Probably shouldn't have happened, but it happened. And he didn't perform, and he performed well his first year, his first couple years, but then kind of took, it went the other way. And it went the other way in a very public way, with him just getting beat over and over again against Big Ten edge rushers. I don't know. I'm just not. I have hope that Turner Corcoran, if he enters the season UTEP healthy, which on Saturday we all saw him limp off the field. He got dinged up a little bit. If he enters the season healthy, I think Turner Corcoran might have a Bryce Benhart-like jump that we saw last year, and that's just from the continuity and the coaching with the coaches, with Donovan Raiola and Aaron Cooling, and him just this is going to be one of his last hurrahs at it and everything. And I don't know. I just think he's going to enter the season with a chip on his shoulder. He hears what everybody's been saying about him. I think that's going to end up being a good thing for Turner Corcoran.
All right, there it is. Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Steve, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
All right, thanks for go.
There he is, Steve Marik, Inside Nebraska. Appreciate the time as always from Steve. Always a good conversation from the loyal listener. There he is, Steve Marik.
He listens every day.
Every day he says that.
He says he does.
That's what he said on the text messages. But
nonetheless,
nonetheless,
do I believe him? Yes, I do.
Good
I have no
for you.
reason not to.
Let's take a break. We'll wrap up the show when we return. Coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts, and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey, Nebraska football fans, it's defensive lineman Ty Robinson, and I've got a winning play for you with Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Team up with Action and install a new Bradford white water heater in your home. And if we win the conference championship this season, you'll get a full refund. Don't fumble this opportunity. Sack your old water heater this season and score big with Action. Visit actionlincoln.com/Huskers to learn more.
Promotion valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and warmer temperatures with a high around 88. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 66. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers and storms, otherwise partly sunny with a high around 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Kleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Can you guys just keep a straight face?
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, but we'll try. Okay. We're just three players talking. Come on, let's try this.
This is how the sugar hill. You're driving to Wichita, writing this down.
You're not helping anything.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Appreciate Empire Fence and Netting for their support of the program. As always, thanks to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska for hanging out with us last segment. If you missed any of the show or shows throughout the course of the day, week, month, year on 93.7 The Ticket, you can always check them out online at theticketfm.com or wherever you get your podcast. Especially, we're on Amazon now too, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We have been for a while. We just really want people to find us on Amazon.
We're on Amazon like the boys.
There it is. We will bring in Eric Strickland. Stricky, what's happening?
Oh, I had it on mute. What's up, man? What's going on, Tricky Nicky?
Hello.
How are you?
How's life treating you, Strick?
Man, it's been surreal. I shared it with Austin before he left to go out of town. Condolences to him and you know the loss of his grandfather as well. But so me and the Boxster will have a reunion today on the block, so we'll get a chance to do that. But yeah, man, it was a surreal thing yesterday, Nick, man, to be honored back in my hometown with a proclamation. You know, yesterday being Eric Strickland Day, man, in the town of Opelika. So it was pretty dope, man. And look, I'm not one to, but I was really amazed too because, you know, when my cousin was presenting it to me at the day out event, this is not to put any, I just think it was monumental for me because, you know, he had said, you know, Strick is, you know, this is even a more monumental day than even probably he knows. He said Strick is the first African-American Black man to receive this award in my town or of any kind of this nature. So it was, man, it was amazing, you know, and it goes to show just how far we've come. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a lot of people say a lot of things and go through a lot of things and you know, it's integrated into politics and all these things about, you know, the culture and, you know, stuff like that, man, just a lot of negative talk and stuff. But it was amazing just to see it personally, the progression that we've had as a nation, as a people, you know, all around the world, you know, so it was awesome, man. I don't know. I'm still kind of taken aback from it, but yeah, I'm here today. I'll be back tomorrow.
Did you get a key?
Not a key to the city. It was just they just offered me a.
I knew that.
Just made a day.
I knew.
We were hoping you got like a big old key and you could bring it in.
Man.
I was excited. Strick probably got a massive key and he'll just bring it in, just like have it like the clock around Flavor Flav's neck. You just got a big old key. He's like, yeah, it's the key to the city.
Well, because we knew that it was good. It was like a proclamation. Obviously, we knew that piece. But then Austin framed it yesterday that you were getting the key to the city, and I was like, no way, that's sweet. We were debating whether or not you get a big key.
Is like an actual?
No, my boy Austin just pumping it up a little extra for his boy. That was basically it.
That's what it is. All right, Stricky, we're going to get out of here in a few minutes. I want to talk about the and maybe you and Austin broke this down yesterday, the Florida International naming rights situation. Did you see this with Pitbull?
Yeah, I did with Pitbull.
Yeah, so Pitbull is spending $1.2 million a year for the next 5 years. So it's a $6 million contract in total to basically have FIU's stadium or field named Pitbull Field. And Pitbull, for the folks that don't know, rapper, he would be popular in like 2007 to 2015, maybe.
Yeah, he was
like that was his prime.
He was like a mid 2010s guy.
Frankly, I mean that was when I was growing up. So I mean, like I knew Pitbull very well.
A lot of Pitbull happened at college parties for me.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Perfect. So anyway, what I don't want to talk specifically about Pitbull. I want to talk mainly about like the smaller schools.
Yes.
That are located maybe in some better climates. Do we see this thing becoming a more popular thing where influential people are paying money and universities like a Florida International or Jacksonville State or whoever you want to have out there are offering this up as an added cash flow?
I think you're going to see this, man. I mean, we have to really consider that a lot of the smaller programs don't have the means. One, they don't have probably. I mean, when you look at big colleges like a Nebraska or like an Ohio State, one, their alumni base is huge, right? Because you're talking about, at Nebraska, roughly 30-something thousand or so. If you talk about those who are off campus as well, or graduate students and so forth and so on. So you're talking upwards every year, roughly, 20, 30,000. And in that you have people like your Open Doorses and, you have people that come from these programs that have done well for themselves and they're able to have some influence or to help and to offer back to different programs, different things, right? Some of these smaller colleges don't have that, Nick. They don't have that same base pool. So they might, if they have an 8,000, 10,000 enrollment, maybe less, you maybe hit one, or so, or two, and so forth and so on. So they have to figure out a way to generate incomes and to figure out a way to creatively put themselves in the mix. We know they're not going to be able to hang on NIL basis with higher level colleges. And so they've got to be able to figure out how to keep these budgets running, being that they are still liable and not negative liable, but it has a liability upon their income or their not budgets, but maybe even their budgets on their budgets. Yeah. And so forth. They have this now as a part of what's going to be a part of their budgets, and they have to figure out a way to mitigate that. And I think that's just a creative way to do it. I think it's actually pretty dope.
I think it is too. I mean, we know that there's the popularity is growing for, we know Texas Tech has done it where logos are, legal now on the fields for universities as another avenue for revenue. And whether that's, 2 logos at the 20-yard or 25-yard line and then one on each side of the midfield logo, whatever it is, we know that that's an avenue that or universities are going to be able to go down to get that added source of revenue as we enter this day and age of revenue sharing. That is in college athletics. Stricky, I'll ask you the question that I always ask Austin before we hand it over to you guys. What's coming up on the show today with you and Bach?
Oh man, it's going to be a pretty good show today, man. We're going to talk a little bit because yesterday we mentioned the Patriots' pursuit of Brandon Ayuk, and I had given a take on that of why I don't think that the Patriots should pursue it, and they then today have released that they're not going to pursue Brandon Ayuk, and they're going to focus on some of their young talent, and they've drafted 2 receivers, and and I thought that was a good idea to do it before they even said it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We'll have Evan Bland come on and tap in with us as well, give up some Husker news and some highlights in the recruiting sphere. We're going to talk about thoughts on who will challenge the men in basketball in the Final Four now that it has been solidified. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some Olympic news, how crazy it's been out there for some of those who have been participating, some of the issues that have been going on with that. And then we'll have one segment also where we'll say, what hurts worse? Stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be pretty good because one of the instances, there was just a player, Nick, that was on the verge of going for a no-hitter. We'll discuss who he is and how that happened. And what hurts worse, that or something else we're going to share. And we'll discuss different topics on that as well, and then have crossover.
All right, perfect. There you have it. Full rundown of the show coming up on the block with Strick and Bach, as it used to be. But that'll do it for us here once again on the happy hour. Huge thanks. Stricky, I'm going to make you mad here by saying this. Do you know what you missed today?
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
You missed Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, and it was delicious. It was delicious. So there you have it. That'll do it for us.
Hush, Rico.
On the block coming up next. So stay tuned. 93.7 The Ticket. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Adios.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be